You guys are gonna want to strap into your potatoes. We've got some uh, some thrilling heroics planned for this next leg. Your alien friend, uh, he's going to is going to be there's going to be some demand put on you. But before we get to that, we'd
Oh,
like
we're
to.
ready.
Yeah, you guys are ready. Yeah, I will say reading this section is really cool because I mean there's some stuff in here. There are some paragraphs that were written in such a way it's like, man, that would look really cool in a movie, like Indiana Jones type crazy shit. But yes, welcome to Deep Night Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have met an alien. Yeah, what was his name? It's
The
a
green guy, six
yeah,
leg green line.
yes, the green guy. His name was Akranika.
It's like Eric. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Eric Coca.
Yeah, his name is Akranika. He is a species of alien that has four legs. Their torso is segmented into an upper and lower torso. The lower torso actually has air sacs in it that he can fill through gill-like structures uh, to create buoyancy. And so it is theorized that his species has some kind of aquatic or at least shallow aquatic background.
They're water bugs that
Yeah, they're
evolved.
like they're water bugs, and his 4 feet are very prehensile. So he can like in 0 G, as long as there's handholds, he's all over the place. He's perfectly comfortable, upside down, left, right. It doesn't matter. And so he was the surviving member of a crashed exploration ship. And so these guys have been spending some time in jump and, in the process of refueling and whatnot over the past, I don't know, what did we say? It was like 3 week or 3 jumps. So over the past 6, 7 weeks, these guys have been spending time kind of learning a little bit more about him and letting the translator listen to him. This guy is a part of a cast called the Thinkers, and so uh, he tends to talk a lot, and he was trapped on this planet for like 3 years, and so. He didn't have anybody to talk to until these guys showed up, and he just will not shut up. And it's getting better now that he actually knows that you guys are understanding a bit of him. But what you have learned about him is that his species is called the Ali-Kamraia, and um, he's very concerned. Not concerned isn't the right word, but he is a little confused um, in this amount of time that you've been in jump and traversing. You guys did agree to help. He showed you essentially how to get home to his
Right.
his home place, and um, in the time that he spent walking around the ship, he is amazed at the fact that you have males and females that are operating
Which
together,
make which makes
and
sense. If he's from a culture with queens.
yeah, what he has described to you is that essentially to the mothers he is considered an undesirable, and his immediate assumption was that because you are explorers that you must all be undesirables too. But
So
then
yeah, we're trying to get when he says undesirables, he means undesirables to breed. Is that what he's referring to?
essentially, yes, that he was
Okay,
rejected, and
gotcha.
and his immediate assumption was that everybody on this ship must be an undesirable. But then he has now learned that both sexes operate on the ship, and so his mind is blown. And to make that even more blown, he's shocked at the fact that the crew of Revelation would willingly take birth control to prevent pregnancy. He's like, what? Like I,
You can even do that?
well, yes, and well, it's not even so much that would you even do that. It's like, oh my God, why would you want that? And so, yeah, we'll get into his species and how they kind of operate. Um, but before we get into that, we would like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. Tonight, oh my God, there's so many. Of course, it is Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. There's so many awesome, awesome deals going on. But I will say tonight, let's go ahead and thank Fable Beard Company. So Fable Beard Company, right? Yes, that they have those tins. That is a tin of Hero Beard Balm that Gregor was, or I'm sorry, that Randolph was just showing up. They make beard products such as balms, butters, oils, or beard wash and conditioner. They have deodorants, spray-on colognes. They also have a site for women that is called FableBeauty.com, and it's kind of the same thing, but in the manner of like body frosting and sprays and lotions and all the things that the ladies like. They have shave oil for your legs. So yeah, check out FableBeauty.com. But right now, FableBeardCompany.com has and this is for everything on their site, buy one get one free, and so this can be a pretty huge thing. So, for instance, today I bought a another bottle of beard wash and a bottle of conditioner, and it ended up being the beard wash was free, so that basically saved me $20 on the purchase. And there's very rarely any other time out of the year that you're going to save that much on a purchase. So it is definitely worthwhile checking out. So go to fablebeardco.com, and they everything on their site is buy one get one for Black Friday. So I mean it is 7:14 p.m. West Coast. So get on that because I think that their deal ends midnight tonight, but it might go till Sunday. So you'll have to click their link and double check. But yeah, if you're of the bearded persuasion, go grab it. Uh, if you are a fan of the show, you like our games, and you want to help us out, we do have a merch store as well via Zazzle. They have some Black Friday sales going on too, like 30% off, things like that. Anyways, we have a link down in the description. We have a beer stein. We've got a fleece blanket that comes in 3 different sizes. We have T-shirts and buttons, and we just added hoodies that are character hoodies from all of the characters from our Saturday Broadhaven game. So, if you want to help us out, 100% of the proceeds from that store go directly back into the channel, which helps cover all the little excuse me, all the little things like subscriptions and map software and bandwidth and all those things is all covered, or help to be covered through that store. So, yeah, if you want to help us out, go get yourself a new hoodie and a button, and we appreciate everything you're going to do. So I have to say, I major progress on the the new Broadhaven book, Tantalizing Tower. I am finishing up Reef's End. I will be beginning the Monastery of the Jade Fist, and once that is done, the Atlas portion of the book is finished, and I can start the actual adventure. And so it is coming soon. I was hoping to have it out before Christmas, unless I am able to pump out, 100 pages between now and the 15th. I just don't know that that's going to actually happen. I mean, miracles sometimes happen, but it's probably going to be first of the year. I'm just being realistic. It'll be done when it's done. I don't want to rush this kind of thing. It is already up to 218 pages, so just a little bit more time, and this fatty book of content will be coming out. So if you've been looking for that, that's the information on that. All right. So you guys, so this guy, Akranika, um, you learn a little bit more about the Alakai. It is confirmed to you that they are a caste system. Their caste system, let's see here, is basically broken up between what he refers to as the mothers, and then there are thinkers, workers, and warriors. And questions to him about, well, I mean, obviously thinkers are going to be assumed to be the more intelligent caste, and questions of things like, well, how smart are thinkers or versus workers or warriors. He doesn't. It's not that he sidesteps the question. It's that he um, basically doesn't understand the question. He thinks of all of them as intelligent, and that's
That's it.
that's it. They do their job for their cast, and I mean,
What kind of reception, if we go to his home system, what kind of reception could we expect? I mean, if he's just an undesirable thinker that they plan to send out and die, I'm not really trusting his ability to put in a good word for us. He probably doesn't mean shit.
well, that's not necessarily true. So he does explain to you a little bit more about what is being what he has described, or the translator has described, as his undesirable status. And so essentially, the all of the Alakai, at their at some point in their, it's not even necessarily like a rite of passage kind of thing. It's just at some point they attempt to go to one of the mothers, and she will either accept or not accept them. And if she doesn't show interest, and they continue to try to press the point in getting her attention, it can be very. He describes that it can be very dangerous.
You get
Because
eaten.
the mm, well,
It's like a praying mantis.
evidently mothers can be quite violent, and so um, he describes that he unfortunately was rejected, and he discretion is a better part of valor. He pulled back, and so he became undesirable to the mothers, and essentially there is this fourth, yes, fifth. There's like this fifth cast of Alakai that are all made up of the ones that were not desired by the mothers, and they, um, because they are undesired, they are the first chosen to be a part of space exploration and to cruise ships. But
What kind of oh what kind of shot do I have on fucking one of their queens?
um, probably not good.
But I mean, it's respectful to go there and give it a shot, though, right?
Make a make a
I mean, if approaching is part of their culture and we go
But
and
if
don't approach,
but if
it's
sex is solely for breeding, that may mean that your chances are non-existent.
right. And
well, I'm just asking
well,
questions. It's not like I'm putting my background.
make a life sciences plus intellect or education check. Okay, so you just got it, but basically you are able to grok what he's putting down. He the way he's describing it is that evidently these mothers um, are barely of animal intelligence.
Oh.
And so, uh, but uh, but the way that he puts it is that they are revered as um, not quite like goddesses or priestesses or whatnot, but they are the most important feature of their society. And so there are familial groups that will base themselves around a mother and do everything that they can, of course, to protect her because she just keeps pumping out kids. And the ones that are not desired by the mother, like I said, all of them are cast off, and they form a fifth overall cast of thinkers, workers, and warriors that are basically first chosen to be a part of their space program and especially exploration, but pretty much any space program. And his description, like I said, they are maybe tech level 8, 9, cusping on 9. So their technology, as far as like jump drive and maneuver drive, has shot ahead of their tech level, and so it is um, both prototype level shit and fairly dangerous.
Mm.
And so, you know, who knows what's going to happen when you hit the button? I mean, the risk of misjump is high, and so he describes, you know, they have explored their local cluster area, and he kind of describes it that it sounds like there's a small main there of number of systems, but a lot of it is left unexplored, and in some cases, some of it's left unexplored because ships that were sent to explore a system disappeared and never came back. And he describes one system in particular where they've attempted to explore it like 4 times, and nobody's ever come back, and now it's kind of got this boogeyman kind of bad luck thing, like, oh, don't nobody wants to sign up for a mission to go there because it's bad luck. And there's like rumors that there's creatures there and they eat people, and you know, but the reality is that it could just be that they had shitty luck, you know, 4 times in a row, and nobody came back. Um, so as far as like what kind of reception you'll get when you guys show up, he anticipates that you will be heralded as heroes, but he's not sure what form that'll take because you are the first aliens that his species has ever run across. They didn't even have the forethought to think that there might be other life out there.
Well, all right.
And he does tell you that quite frankly, and I mean this is in the 7-8 weeks that you've been jumping. He does tell you that he's fearful because the thought has occurred to him because you guys are your ships and your abilities are so far advanced beyond the Ali-Kamraia that I mean, and he just he poses the question directly to you. What is there to stop you from coming and just either taking over his world or wiping out his people? I mean, this is a legitimate question that he's of course concerned about.
It would take too much time.
It would, yeah. You guys are too far out there. We're not interested.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, we are on a mission to go save all life everywhere and to conquer them and take over. I mean, it's
we're gonna
just
go kill another species.
I mean,
no, I mean, what would we do with it if we did? Let's say that we did conquer your species. What would we now do?
Well,
Well, and that's
do you think we want to sit there and rule them? No,
right.
we have no interest. There's just it's
Well,
just not.
and he
Busy.
it's more or less a hypothetical question because he admits to you that you have obviously you've helped him. You are taking him home. You are a kind species. There has been nothing for him to think that conquering would be. He's not seeing that you act that way. Like anybody on the ship doesn't act
We
that
could
way.
we could probably prepare him with a nice little cache of data and technology. At least the knowledge of the technology to give them a nice boost. You know.
Well, I mean, you guys are gonna want to think about that. You're gonna want
I
to
mean,
discuss that amongst yourselves because like he just said, his species has never seen anything else, and you know very little about his species.
my whole thing is that I'm rank 4 in engineering jump drives, and
Mhm.
it sounds like their jump drives are not safe. And so,
No.
I certainly would not mind helping them improve their jump drive technology,
They
just
can't be.
because it's suicide missions they're running. And so it's like, look, let's at least make sure the jump drives are a
So
little more reliable.
he does tell you that they have gone so far. They do have, like as you know, his exploration ship had a J2 drive,
Right.
and he tells you that or explains to you that the J2 drives, that is a fairly recent innovation. Those are only relegated to exploration ships that are crewed entirely by undesirables. And they
Right.
go out and kind of scout out new areas. But there are colonies, and they have crafted colony ships with J1 drives where usually anywhere from 1 to 5 mothers will be put onto this colony ship, and over the course of a series of J1s, they will reach this colony. And he says then there's the hope that, of course, that the mothers will want to get off of the colony ship to begin their life on this new planet. That's not always the case. And so there are some cases where these colony ships have basically either turned into orbital space stations, or they just ferry back and forth as trade ships between worlds because the mother didn't want to get off.
Well, are they truly overpopulated? It sounds like for them to put their mothers on these ships that are so unreliable, it would seem to me that would require true overpopulation and a desire to expand that
He
is
doesn't.
going beyond safety.
His description of his homeworld doesn't sound like they have a population problem. It's more they do have an intense. The thinkers, especially, it sounds like have an intense curiosity and want to colonize their solar system now that they have the capability of doing so, and they have come to the forethought that if something catastrophic happens to their world, that their species could be wiped out. And so if there's colonies all over the place, then at least the species will carry on.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So over the course of about 8 weeks, you guys are in jump, and you finally let me find where I'm going here. There we go. You come out of jump in a system called DNS GL210. And it, of course, it was picked because long-range telemetry could see that there is a small gas giant there. There is a rocky world that is of very, very little. There's literally no atmosphere. It's got zeros across the board. It might be of mining interest, but what is immediately noticed from the just from coming out, and there is, of course, they do their active scan. There is a ship in orbit around the gas giant, and it appears to be in distress.
All right. Let's try to figure out what we can do to help it.
All right, can I? You said we had 8 weeks.
Yeah, you were in jump and in transit for about 8 weeks. Technically, it was about 3 weeks of jump time, but refueling in between, it comes out to about 8. Like
All right, can I
7 weeks and
create?
change.
Can I have created some agents?
Yeah, go ahead and make a where's my book? There it is. Make a life sciences plus intellect or education check.
All right.
Holy shit. So you are able to create 6 agents.
All right. I am going to. Seeing as how these concentrates are the basis of my fucking spray and all that shit, I'm gonna do. You said I
So
got 6.
I will give you the option. You can create 6 agents, or you could create 3 agents, and you could make another role that would be robotic sciences plus intellect and education, and half your time could have been spent on your cloning project.
Okay, man. Right now, these agents, until I build up a good store of them to treat a number of people,
Right.
I think I need to stick with this.
Okay.
And so I'm going to do 4 of the concentrated doses, which will give me 8 total.
Okay.
And then the other 2 will go on just the regular anti-mold stuff. So I'll have 9.
Gotcha.
So I'll have 9 doses of just the plain anti-mold agent, and then 8 of the concentrate form.
Okay. So yeah, you spent your time in transit working in the lab, producing more of these agents. But anyways, you come out, and the immediate response from the active scan is that there is a ship. The sensor tech can't be positive, but his gut reaction watching this is that the ship is in distress because it appears to be going lower than it should be into the atmosphere. It looks like it was doing a refueling operation, and it's going too low, and it seems to be uncontrolled.
During those 8 weeks, I wanted to partner up the bard with the our new friend.
With your thinker Ali-Kamraia.
Yeah, because they're both kind of new and alien, and the one's been here longer than the other, and so he probably will have ways to answer questions the other might have, and so
Okay.
yeah.
So, what about Randolph? Is there anything that you're? Give me just a second. My camera's being again all wonky. It keeps changing my focus. Hold on. That's better. Jesus. Okay, so Randolph, is there anything that you're doing in that 8 weeks?
I made 8 gallons of moonshine.
Okay. Yeah. Make a physical sciences plus intellect or education check, and we'll see how many gallons of moonshine you cook up in your still. Well, you're able to cook up 1 gallon of moonshine.
Okay.
So, and I mean, it hasn't aged, so it's going to be.
Oh, I've got a technique where I can make whiskey in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be quite fresh. So.
Well, what you do is you take some wood that's like oak,
Stick it in the bottle.
and you roast it.
Yep, and stick it in the bottle.
And you stick it in the bottle.
Yep. Yep.
But it's supposed to be kind of small pieces. And I'm not
I
sure we
I've
didn't find any real oaks who are doing doing as close approximation
I've
as they
actually done that in real life, and it kind of works. It's it's not nearly as good as the real aging process. I mean, you're not going to be able if you've got a 12-year Canadian whiskey, you're not going to achieve that level in 3 or 4 weeks. It does mellow it out, though. I will say it does.
Hey, this is
It
an
does tip the edges.
experiment for the. This is an experiment. I'm going to give it to the. Um,
Like some of your cheaper whiskeys, you're like, oh well, I could either get fucked up or I could clean breaks with this. But if you throw some roasted oak in there and let it sit for about 3 weeks, and then you're like, well, it's got less of a turpentine taste to it, so that's good.
yeah.
You know?
Well, it's for the chief petty officers anyway to try out.
Yeah, we don't care if they go blind. So
They just this is trying to keep the other petty officers in line.
Yeah, they're being punished with this stuff.
yes,
This is not a reward.
yes.
I'm certainly gonna get. I'm certainly not going to give it to the XO.
So yeah, I mean, your the sensor operator's immediate reaction is that this doesn't look right. It looks like it may be. He's not detecting that they're.
So they're in
I
a
don't know,
degrading.
there might be a signal.
They're in a degrading orbit at the moment.
Correct, and it doesn't appear that the ship is. It doesn't appear that it is under power.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
That's not good.
you lose your power when you fail your skimming roll.
So we've got to go into the gas giant itself, which
The comms tech says that he is detecting that there is a repeating radio signal, but he can't make a heads or tails of it.
that makes sense.
Do we have an approximation of how big this ship is?
Yeah.
Yes. It actually,
It's probably too deep for the mothership to make the rescue attempt, right? We're gonna have to go with the Desenex.
This thing's huge. This is not an exploration ship. This is like 20,000 tons.
So, okay.
So the Desenex isn't going to tow it out.
So this must be a colony ship, like he described, where they're bringing.
So he's not on the bridge. You're not. I don't know. Make a. If you want to get a closer look, you're gonna need to make a electronic sensors plus.
Yeah, that's fine. I think my main concern is if it's inside the gravity well of the gas giant, we're probably not going to be able to bring the big ship in to do the rescue, right? Or is that something we do think is safe?
I don't think Desenex can actually rescue a 20,000 ton ship.
No, but I mean, if they've got power issues, perhaps we could, send people to fix their power.
I'm just trying. I'm not making any decisions yet. I'm trying to decide what the situation is.
Go ahead and make an electronic sensors check, and I can give you a little bit. Okay, so you kind of take
really
yeah. I mean, that's not super high, but it's enough for you to get better information. You detect that this ship is its drives are semi-functioning. You see that the makeshift, or not makeshift. The maneuver drives that are on this thing are kind of thrusting, and it'll bring it up to a higher orbit, and then it kind of sinks again, and it'll boost and kind of bring it up to a higher orbit, and it'll sink again, over and over. And but I mean, it's clearly caught in the gravity well. You don't know that it's going to have enough to break free. You estimate that this ship's got maybe 6 to 8 hours before it's going to be at the foobar.
So we could hypothetically fix the maneuver drives and get it.
Can we even get there in 6 hours?
Yes, you could. So you've got a couple of options. You could, I mean, you're the other thing that you know is getting this closer look at it. It is, of course, much larger than anything you've experienced before, but it does have a lot of design elements that look similar to the Ali-Kamraia exploration ships that you've run into.
So how deep into the gravity well of the gas giant is it? Can we safely bring our big ship there to
No.
that level? Okay, that was the question I was.
So Revelation wouldn't be able to go in and tow it out without suffering severe damage due to
Right.
gravitational forces. You also aren't sure that even if you were to get the, I mean, you don't know what the capabilities of the maneuver drive is. So you don't know that even if you were to get it online completely, it might be screwed either way.
Right. Well, I mean, main thing I was wondering is like, could we actually evacuate their?
That was the other
That
option.
was
Is
that
that
was yeah. That's why I was asking if we could get our mothership down there because that would help with the evacuation if we needed
you
to
could send
evacuate.
small craft over to start evacuating people? Yeah, that is another option, and bring refugees over to Revelation.
And just bring Revelation as close as we can safely do it to shorten
Sure.
Correct.
the trip.
Because
We
it
do
can
that.
definitely get sort of close because it's able to refuel on gas giant, so
Wow.
it can definitely handle
Right.
at least the upper at levels of the gas giant.
Well, maybe we bring Bug on the bridge and ask him what the fuck he thinks. Maybe he could talk to him and understand what's going on. You know, I mean, he understands his people.
He'd definitely be able to give us an idea of how many people we could expect to find on a
Yeah.
ship like that.
Yeah. So you're calling uh yeah.
I think we're
I
gonna
might not
move
get
the
it.
big. We're definitely
Bug guy.
we're gonna start moving the big Eric. I always call it Aarakocra. I know those are
Yeah,
like the winged
Acronica,
creature.
that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was going to start referring to him as
Eric
Bug
Coca.
because that's as good as anything. So
But-
you're calling him to the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, let's start moving towards that gas giant to get into a low orbit, a safe low orbit with our big ship before because we don't want to waste time. So we want to start moving into place.
Okay, so yeah, bridge flight crew starts taking action. Captain is ordering people over there. Are you wanting to order small craft crews to get ready?
I mean, yeah, to get ready. Basically, ready rooms. Everybody ready, alert. Type thing.
Okay.
We're about to. Yeah.
So
We-
Acronica gets up to the bridge and he immediately looks at the sensors and he gets both excited and anxious, worried. He tells you that this is the Ali-Kamraia. It is a colony ship, 20,000 ton colony ship. Let's see, it has.
They are clearly not from a capitalist society. This is the third space expedition we've discovered that is fucked up.
It has a lot of people. Let's see. It has.
A capitalist society would not accept this many failures.
In addition to the crew, he tells you that colony
Are
ships,
the crew.
the Ali-Kamraia, is a well-known ship. It's been a colony ship that has been going back and forth between colonies for some time. It usually, in addition to its crew, usually has about 6 different communities aboard that would be well over 1,000 Ali-Kamraia. And he says, more importantly, there would be 6, maybe 7 mothers aboard, and he is absolutely. He tells you that that the last known that the Ali-Kamraia was essentially journeying between the Ali-Kamraia homeworld and a colony called Abonek, and that the Ali-Kamraia wanted to kind of expand that colony, and so he doesn't know how many trips that the Ali-Kamraia had made, but this, it is known that it is generally going to have like 1,000 creatures aboard and at least 6 mothers, and he is He doesn't seem to give too much of a shit about the crew and everybody else, but he's like literally grabbing onto your uniform and begging you to save the mothers.
All right. Well, that tells me that we need to save the mothers just because we're going to have a hard time evacuating anybody else from the ship until we can
Yeah.
get the mothers, safely aboard.
I don't really want to bring in a number of people that could potentially take over the ship. I mean,
I
we
don't.
need to
These people seem incredibly non-hostile.
Well, not only that, but they're way lower tech level. I mean,
Oh,
true that it doesn't. I mean, we could ask Custer about that. Lower tech level didn't really do him any good, did it?
Yeah,
But
but I'm just saying.
Particularly when he forgot the Gatling guns.
right,
Uh,
yes.
it's one thing just to run into one random guy. I mean, this is a worker bee
But their
or
ship didn't have weapons. I mean, we have not. They don't. They're not.
Sorta.
They really didn't have weapons on their ship.
Yeah, no,
Sorta. Let's not preach that. We understand what you're saying, but let's go on with the story.
yeah.
Well,
Well, I
we
mean,
are going along with the story. There aren't weapons on their ships. These
yeah,
people are
Hey,
not
the
military.
exploration ships that you have found
Stop.
in both cases were completely unarmed.
That's fine. We understand. Well, let's go on with the story.
We are in the story. These are not violent creatures.
Stop.
Why are
You
you
don't
yelling?
need to say it 15 times. We already heard you.
Well,
Okay?
so no, I see what he's saying though. I mean, if your concern is so Bocephus's concern is we don't know these people.
That's legal. That's fine. That's actually true. But what are we going to do?
We are going to rescue the mothers and then rescue as many people as possible.
Okay.
So the way we do that is we basically send a transmission as we move scout ships over to bring people on board. We attempt to work on their maneuver drives in the meantime to see if that can buy us some more time or possibly save their ship. But get their mothers offloaded. Once the mothers are offloaded, we can begin offloading their people because I don't believe we're going to be able to successfully evacuate the ship until we get the mothers off the ship first.
So
They're gonna,
Okay. We need
So-
a scan to see if this long range ship away is armed or not.
yeah, go ahead and make a go ahead and make a electronic sensors plus intellect check, and I will show you what comes up. Okay, yeah, there it is.
another 9. I'm rolling really crappy. That's plus 2, I guess, for the ship's capabilities.
That is okay. So this is what comes up. I mean, it's a pretty basic design, 2-deck design, 20,000 tons, but you're not detecting that there is any kind of armament at all on a vessel this size.
Besides that, from a cultural perspective, if we're worried about a threat from them, we only have to threaten their mothers.
True.
And we've got their entire, we have everybody over their barrel. And so it's, we're not putting ourselves in nearly as much danger as you think.
all right, we can give it a shot.
So the one thing I will say is that it's going to take more than just your scout ships. It's going to
I understand.
All of your small craft, the boats and the pinnaces are all going to be flying back and forth in this operation.
Yep.
I suggest that we keep the last ones we bring over are their warriors.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I mean,
or the engineers helping us work on the maneuver
Yeah,
drive.
if we have to sacrifice somebody, I'd rather be potential in
Right.
Well, they've got a.
them. Okay.
We can send over a team of engineers on the first wave uh, to see if we can help assist on getting their ship back together. I mean,
Are you guys going over?
Yeah, let's. I plan to. I mean, to see if I can't help with their maneuver drive. I'm not phenomenal at maneuver drives, but I've got a two with.
One
yeah,
plus two.
yeah. So I
One
mean,
plus two on maneuver, power, life support.
our ship is. I mean, our little ship is needed in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, that
But-
kind of
but
means
it-
everybody.
But it should be rafting people back and forth while we're working on the maneuver drive.
That's
Oh,
correct.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Pappy can ferry people once he drops you off. So, are you taking anybody else with you?
I'm taking. I want to bring
Now,
two.
here's something to keep in mind. The more people that you take with you is less space that you have to bring
We want to
refugees back.
take our bug friend, Arakoka.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to put two Marines in the bridge and keep it locked.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Okay.
And then also start setting up spaces for the refugees,
Okay.
especially the mothers.
Yeah,
Get an idea of how large they are and if there are any special requirements they may have.
So, yeah, Akronika, as you're kind of prepping the cargo hold, he is making special accommodations, asking for pillows and whatnot. And he essentially describes that the bigger the mother, the more desirable she is for mates.
The bigger the pushing.
Yes,
Good.
right. Yes,
They like tushies, huh?
evidently.
I've heard the Spinal Tap song.
Yes. So, Bocephus, go ahead and roll for Pappy, and make a piloting plus dex check. So this might be a little more harrowing than you might expect.
I mean, gas giants are brutal to begin with.
Actually, that's a pretty damn good roll. So yeah, it was a 10 plus difficult check to make the. And as he's getting closer to this, you are seeing out the window of this gigantic 20,000-ton ship that it is deep enough in the atmosphere that you can feel the atmospheric shear hitting the outside of your ship. And in addition to that, you can see parts of this colony ship coming off, antenna and hull sections, and it's not looking good. Everybody can roll a recon plus intellect check.
Wish I had intellect.
Well,
I got an 8.
yeah,
Yeah.
8's good.
That's what I got.
So
Better my
Randolph and Bocephus, you're looking out the window and you notice that the nozzles of the drives are actually glowing red from heat.
Well, that's not good. Have your nozzles melt would not be a good thing.
Maybe we ought to just try to grab the others and say fuck the rest of them. I mean, this is a difficulty 10. We're going to lose a lot of ships in this.
So the other ships, they are doing okay. Yeah, you have not lost any ships. They are making their docking procedure. One ship has had to veer off and make a second attempt, but they are docking. You are finding the biggest problem that Pappy has had, and of course the other ships will have a similar problem, is identifying uh, airlocks. And of course, these airlocks, one of the reasons why the difficulty is so high is because they don't have extending tubes like what you are used to. It's literally you come up and it is a hard fix with the airlock. And so it's like trying to jump onto a buck and bronco as in a tornado. And so Pappy is able to get you a seal, a rough bump up against the ship and a lock. And the two Marines are waiting for you to leave the bridge and lock the door behind you. Um, uh, what's your how are you guys equipping yourselves, and what is your plan? Are you just rushing out and saying, "Hey, we're here to help"? Or what are you doing?
I
Yeah.
think we were radioed in
Yeah,
before we got there.
yeah. Try to radio in using the ship's translating capabilities to basically say we're.
Well, you brought Akronika with you, so
Yeah, but we have the radio. We want a radio to let them know that we're here to assist in evacuating the mothers, and then anyone beyond. Once the mothers are safe, anyone else who can make it.
So the bridge of the Ali-Kamraia comes back, and Akronika translates it far better than your translation unit, and they are thankful for any assistance that can be given. If we can get the mothers off, but really the crew of the ship is concerned about everybody aboard. Because,
We are too.
because this is essentially 6 communities that even if the mothers were to die, this is still 1,000 individuals that
Yeah.
they are of course concerned about the mothers first, but it would be a massive detriment if they lost these communities.
Yep.
How many can we put aboard this ship?
I mean, you can pack them in like sardines into the cargo hold. You could probably get, let's say that they, so, that's a good question. Let's take a closer look. All figures.
I mean, in an ideal thing, I mean, we dock, we open the thing, airlock, and in come a bunch of people. We close the airlock and we take off and leave. And I mean, that they should be doing all the internal ship work to get their people to the dock.
So you've got 17 tons of cargo space, and that's just cargo space. You should easily be able to get 3 or 4 mothers in there, and a good portion of their community, and that's just cargo space. If you allow them to come up into your regular your common area, you could probably fit quite a few more. I mean, but you're not talking hundreds. You're talking 15, 20, and that's really packing them in.
Well, the mothers will need people to care for them. So I mean, if they're going to load our ship up, tell them to prep out 3 mothers and
Their
surrounding staff,
ladies in raiding and their guard.
yeah, whatever the fuck they need, and get on and we'll leave. And then, I mean, I guess
Who of us are staying to see what we can do, or are we giving up?
Akronika or relays the message of trying to get the mothers ready, and he listens to the response, and he tells you that they are making an attempt. That's all he says.
Yeah.
What do they?
They have to decide they want to do it.
We need to go.
I guess.
I'd like to go take a look at the engines to see if there's anything we can do to help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing the regular standard hazardous environment suit that's a vac and all.
Okay.
And I will go talk to the mothers.
So
with
actually,
bug.
Okay. So
Or bugs.
I'll follow to the the engineering
So
section.
so Sarda and Randolph are going to engineering, and Bocephus is going to
Yep.
go with Akronika to try and convince the mothers.
Correct.
That's right.
But let
And the
me.
Marines and Pappy are going to oversee whoever's getting on the ship and settling them in the cargo bay and all that.
Gotcha. So let's see. Standard. Where's hazardous environment? That's exploration suit, vac suit. Does the hostile environment suit give you any bonus to like strength?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't
No.
think it did.
No, we don't have.
It's not like a battle dress. It's just
No.
yeah. So okay. Are
It's
all of
like
you
I'm
going in
not going in
hazardous
with-
environment suits, or just in case, or
Nope.
If it's does it have better radiation? Does it have better rad versus vac suit? My vac suit's got rad of 90. I don't know what the hazardous suit has
I don't know why this isn't coming.
for rad.
I'm just gonna go in my regular doctor's coat and with my med kit.
Oh, here it is. Hostile environment suit. It is. So yeah, it'll take 200 rad.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's a
what
lot
I'm
harder to
wearing
maneuver in it.
because
It's a lot harder. Yeah, it's a lot harder to maneuver in it. But yeah, I guess that does make more sense. I really don't want more radiation.
it's like, yeah, I want more radiation, and
Wait, you don't want to
we
grow a
could
second
end up
head?
with a dead ship and us in space.
Well, do they have radiation issues? I mean,
Well, you
little
are
guy-
in the
I'm assuming.
you are in the upper atmosphere of a gas giant, so yeah, there are radiation issues.
Then I'll wear
Plus,
my
their
hazmat,
engines are falling apart too. You know, so it's to me, it's not
Yeah,
good.
I'll wear my hostile environment suit just because if we lose air, I mean,
Yeah.
you really want that.
You're going to be taking your gloves off, but that's the way it is, both doctor. What kind of hands does a dolphin man have?
Well, his flippers turned into hands. If you've ever seen the skeletal feature of a whale or a dolphin's flippers, the skeleton is actually really
Actually a
long
hand.
hands.
It's got fingers.
Yeah, it's
And a
weird.
thumb.
So you guys open the airlock, and you can see, and Akronika, of course, kind of runs to the front, and you can see that there are two other much larger and bulkier individuals, and they are actually holding. They are armed. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Warriors. I hate warriors. You got to kill them when they get in the way.
They are armed with these.
They're going to have to leave their weapons behind.
And-
None of their weapons will be allowed on our ship.
They have them, and Akronika says something, and they sheath their weapons, and immediately wave Akronika through it, and Akronika turns and he says, "Bocephus, my friend, come, we must go see the mothers."
Yep, I'll go with him.
And one of the other ones, your translation unit, he says, he basically says Akronika has presented you, and this other warrior is wants to lead Sarda and Randolph to their engineering room, and he tells you that a number of other engineering
Excellent.
crews have already headed in that direction.
Lead on.
Perfect.
So
Lead on, doofus.
they lead the two of you through a number of corridors, and you come into this engineering section. And let me bring this back up. There we go. So they bring you into this engineering maneuver drive section, number 10. Where's 10? There's 11. There it is. And oddly enough, it's kind of in the middle of the ship. So the ship is basically designed so that there are two side pylons and then a central shaft that they connect to, and the main maneuver drives are kind of in the middle of deck two on this central pylon. And they bring you in, and there are sparks flying everywhere. There is smoke. A couple of machines are on fire, and the heat level in here has gone through the roof. You can see that a number of the drives are actually glowing from being too hot, and you can see that the glow is moving down. You guys can make engineering power plus intellect or engineering checks, or if you have M drive, you can make engineering M drive plus um, intellect or education.
Can I use engine? Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you can make an. Oh, there's a good one. Yeah, you can use M drive if you
I've
prefer.
got maneuver and engineering. And we find out they're going to blow up.
14.
So you kind of go over the two of you go over their consoles, and the first obvious immediate thing is that the drives are overheating. The second most obvious thing is that the reason the drives are overheating is because this ship at 20,000 tons just has a fat ass and only has thrust one, and the gas giant has them. And so what the bridge has been doing is basically overdriving the engines, trying to buy time to get to just a slightly higher orbit, and then pulling back on the drives at the last minute so that they don't completely shred, and waiting it
Right.
out, and then doing it all over again. And I mean, there's literally 15, 20 minutes in between, so the drives aren't even having that much time to cool off. Um, your estimations are that at thrust one, there's no way the ship's ever going to pull away.
Okay. Um, is there any way to divest it of mass? So um, can we throw? Is there cargo that can be ejected, or
There is cargo. There was cargo.
Okay.
They already the
All right.
bridge crew already thought of that and vacated
Got it.
the cargo hold.
Can
Got it.
they can they release one of their side?
No, because those are all living spaces and common areas and medic bays.
I was hoping they can move
So
everybody to one side and blow the other one off.
yeah,
Yeah,
what about
they're not detachable.
as they set up for evacuation? They're going to be emptying those areas, though, right?
Theoretically, yes.
So let's have them begin queuing for evacuation and blow the pods as soon as we can.
Okay. So, well, I mean, there's no pods to blow. They cannot
Oh, gotcha.
be separated. But I mean, at least if you get people out of those sections, it should be theoretically lighter, putting all of the weight in the middle. I don't know if that'll be better or not.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could. Why don't you start disassembling the J drive and just chunking it out? I mean,
So-
that's fucking
so
25.
these
That's a lot of
hallways, these white hallways here, are where your ships are attaching. So technically, the refugees have to move through those to get
Right.
out. Um,
Got it.
so yeah, but like I said, as they move out, it should lighten up. Your estimation is you're kind of doing the mental math, and the calculus and algebra and trigonometry that you're doing in your head is you don't know that your small craft can move people fast enough to lighten the load enough for it
Oh,
to.
I don't think the mass of the aliens is going to make that big a difference compared to, like he said, the J drives or
Yeah,
something like.
yeah. Your overall look on this is this boat's fucked. It's
Yeah,
going down, like one way or the
right.
other.
But the main thing is how can we buy even a couple, even an hour or two. That's the main thing I'm looking at is how can we buy more time so that we can do more evacuations.
On the other side of the ship, moving towards those living areas that we just discussed, is Bocephus and Acronica. Bocephus, as you're moving towards these living areas, moving through the corridors of this ship, so it is an architectural trip. So the hallways, and actually Randolph and Sardis saw some of this too, but the hallways are almost built in like a spiral pattern, and on the walls and ceiling are handholds. And so, because these guys are four-legged with prehensile feet, these guys will just literally run circles around to get wherever it is that they want to go. And what you are experiencing, though, is near complete panic. These you haven't run into anybody that you would know as crew. You're running into the thousands of individuals themselves, and they are all running towards the airlocks, hoping to get out. Some of them are running in the same direction that you are, trying to do something about the mothers. Others have been. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. I mean, it's like the Titanic is going down,
Yeah.
and there's literally no lifeboats. This ship has no secondary craft.
Well,
You guys are it.
yeah. Well, thank God that we don't believe in Darwinism, or we would just
Yeah,
we
a
would
little
say
bit.
that maybe they shouldn't continue on
A
if they
little
can't.
column A, little column B.
Yeah.
You guys get an award.
Yeah.
So you and Acronica make your ways through, and you make your way to one of the first chambers where the one of the mothers is, and I can show you a picture. Yeah, this works. She's not an intelligent breeder, but she is essentially looks like this. She's quite a bit larger than the rest of them. She has very muscular legs. She is,
She needs them for that butt.
yeah, she right. She is mobile, and she is pitching a fit. There are like six warriors and two workers, and they're trying to coax her out and convince her that she needs to evacuate, and she is um, terrified. I mean, you don't even have to make a psi check. You can feel the waves of terror coming at you, and it does not get better when she sees you.
Why?
Everybody has that effect. I have that effect on everybody.
It's your dolphin
There's
penis. I mean,
no.
let's just
It's
say, you know,
That's the only thing not covered in my vac suit.
yes, it's always there.
Ah, well, let's start out with a die roll and see if I can just give her a suggestion.
You're gonna do a psionic suggestion.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's. This is a difficulty 12 task that I'm trying.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me take a look.
Oh,
Kitties. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Go ahead and try that.
And I'm gonna throw a luck point on there.
Yeah. Go for it.
Give me a +4 here. That's
So,
it.
Yeah. You just made it. You send a suggestion, and so
My suggestion is for her to follow me and board my ship.
Okay, so um, you send this
And then
telepathic.
fall in love with me.
Well, no, that's for later, baby. So you send this telepathic suggestion, and you implant this idea to follow you to your ship, and it does take hold in a very rudimentary manner. What you are sensing when he described the mothers to you, um, literally, her intelligence is like a cat. It's very animal, and um, she is still terrified, but the suggestion takes hold, and so she does start to follow the orders of the guys trying to get her to follow you to the ship.
Wonderful, and I will guide her to the Drisnecks, and the whole time I will be telling Bugs, tell her about the comfort and the wonderful food we have, and the
Yeah,
uh,
Akronika is like, yeah, I don't, she's. Not, I mean, he goes ahead and rattles off some stuff, and he kind of looks at you and he goes, "To be real honest, they're not of that kind of thinking. They make a decision, and it completely baffles the rest of us for the most part. They don't.
well,
Yeah.
well, we seem to have succeeded here, so let's get this bitch on our
You
fucking.
could give them bonbons and pillows, and they'll either, set up shop, or they'll bitch that the bonbons are dark chocolate and the pillows are the wrong color. I mean,
Uh,
you know, um, that's just the nature of the mothers.
them being animal like makes me think I can take a lower hit. Uh, I instead of maybe suggestion, maybe I should uh, do some of the oh telepathy.
Yeah,
Just it just communicates emotions and basic feelings.
yeah.
You know.
So, in this
Uh,
conversation with Akronika, he snaps his fingers and he goes, "No, not mothers, breeders. They're
yeah.
breeders, not mothers.
Okay. Well,
So they like to shop at Walmart."
I like. Look, I support your right to breed, and I am a big proponent of breeding. I have bred.
No, he says, no,
Oh,
that's their entire cast. They are breeders. They are,
yeah.
and he explains. He says they are of animal like intelligence,
Hmm.
and um, he says that they operate on an emotional level.
I see. So if I put in the emotion that they could successfully breed on our ships, they'd be more inclined to get on our ships because that.
Not necessarily, because they make the decision on what males they want to breed with. You could send that emotion to them, and they'd be like, well, let's see who's on the ship." Is
Right.
basically what their response is going to be. But right now, she's terrified. So if you send a calming emotion that everything's going to be okay, that she can follow you, that should. I mean, like I said, this is no different than trying to calm down a feral cat.
Right. Well, that ought to calm her right fuck
Yeah,
down.
so she calms down, and like
That's four side points gone. But yeah,
the six warriors and the two workers that are trying to get her to move, they all have their this big hooked knife out, because if a breeder gets pissed off, she is way more than capable of tearing them limb from limb. And but she calms down, and they're like, okay, and they start herding her down the hall towards the airlocks, following you.
is is the Driznex the closest ship to our actual
To
location?
to you, yes.
Then let's take that. Then, if there was another allied ship closer, I'd say let's just go get this thing off the ship. But yeah,
So
let's.
there is another crew that has successfully, well, suc- uh, success is a can be a relative term. They have gotten one of the breeders into one of the airlock areas. She has now planted her feet and is like, I'm not getting on that ship. And so there is another crew that is in the process of trying to convince a second breeder to continue on. So
All right.
there is some success with your other small craft.
Okay.
So Randolph and Serta, you're in engineering. You know that this ship is boned. What are your plans?
What
I only have one idea for cooling down the engine some and giving us more time.
Okay. What's your plan?
Breaching the engineer section,
Do what?
letting all the atmosphere go out and
Oh.
the gases from this planet, which are ice cold,
Right.
in.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, do they have vac suits? Do they have internal?
Bulkheads and doors.
Right,
They
right,
do.
right.
They do. They do have, and they also have vac suits.
All right. Well, and they're going to be better equipped at dealing with zero to grab than we are. Their way of walking around and gripping everything.
Right. Okay. So if this was Randolph's idea, Randolph, you can go ahead and make a engineering life support plus intellect or education check. Oh, okay. All right. So Sard is able to communicate to everybody what's going to happen. They suit up, and Randolph blows basically vents the compartment, and compartments 10, 6, and what is this one? 10, 6, and 5 on 2 decks vents out, bringing in these semi-hostile gases, mostly hydrogen, but there's methane and ammonia and other caustic types. They come in, and like you said, they are freezing, so the drives immediately start to cool. Randolph, roll 2D.
It means that anybody that we're going to evac from here is going to have to do it through a spacewalk, probably.
So you got an 8. Okay. So the cold air comes in, and these drives start to cool, and I mean, you almost immediately see these drives, the glow just kind of dim down to a normal level. Sarda, you can make a M drive plus intellect or education check.
Come on, there you go. Those two. Roll 20 is going real slow for me today.
That's a little laggy.
Roll 20 is going really slow for me today. 10.
It's probably because they do have actually also Black Friday sales going on. So I'm sure that a lot of people that use the Roll20 stuff off their store are purchasing stuff. So I'm sure they're overloaded too. So with a 10,
Gotcha.
you notice that on their computers, you see that the drive temperatures are dropping, and then you see
Okay.
and it's hard to describe with a maneuver drive, but essentially what you're seeing is it looks like a flame out.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so they'd have to be reignited.
Right.
So they have to be reignited somehow?
Right.
Okay. What do we need? What do we need to do to get that to happen?
Well, you guys can both make either one of you can make a engineering power plus intellect or education check,
Why don't you go for it? I think we're rolling the same thing. There you go.
and then
Perfect.
somebody can make another M. So Randolph got an 11. You can make a maneuver drive plus intellect or education check with a +1. Damn.
Ooh,
Nice.
God.
So
Boxcar.
so he
Rolled
so
11. Rolled 11.
Randolph kind of fiddles around with this alien console and is able to figure out that what does what and transfers power from this very questionable fusion plant and dumps it into the drives, and Sarda is able to reignite the drives, and you hear a pop 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 pop, and the drives come alive, and you can hear the maneuver drives rumbling again. In this process, as you are moving the female to the airlock section to get her to the Desinex, the ship kind of lurches for a second because it is under no power whatsoever. And so Bocephus, make a athletics dexterity check or just a raw dexterity check.
He's going to get crushed.
Right? Oh, shit.
Oops.
And
Poor,
I need
poor
to-
dolphin man.
Hold on, where is she? Yeah. Where'd she go?
Oh, Bophesus. What's that big thing?
She might not. She might not be doing well either.
Oh,
A 5. Okay, so that means she's at 1. Yeah. So, Bocephus, as you are going down this hall and the ship lurches, the gravity plates are unfortunately in this case still holding, and the breeder, she's not nearly as agile as the warriors and workers, and they just kind of grip onto grips on the walls and ceiling and kind of ride it out. She tumbles and pins you against the wall. You got a fat ass like holding you against the wall.
Can I access my medical kit?
You know, roll 1d. And we will find out.
give her a 7. Too bad we don't know what a sedative for her is.
So yeah, you can. She has leaned up against you, and your dolphin legs are pinned against the bulkhead. Not that you're taking any damage; it's just that you're stuck.
Cool. Gonna
And
give
she
her a
is
shot of that.
freaking the fuck
Yeah.
out.
Gonna give her a shot of that neon venom.
The neon venom?
Hell yeah, from the planet Neon. I've got 10 doses of it.
Okay.
Took it from the sack of that fucking thing. It was it'll knock you out. You'll stop remembering things for a little while, and you'll.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So yeah, from the very first adventure that we ever did, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I collect things, and
Go
I
ahead,
put them.
go ahead and make a medic plus education or intellect check. Okay, so one of the things, and I can tell you a little bit about breeders. So they just like Acronica, and you notice the same thing on the workers and the warriors. They are all coated in like a very semi kind of light chitinous shell like plates. And you're able to get your hypo under a plate and injector. And she pretty much immediately. Let's see, what's her endurance? Ooh, I don't know. We're gonna see. Do you remember what the endurance check for that was?
I think it's difficult. It was either a 10 or a 12.
Okay,
It was
so
very high.
yeah, I remember it was really. I think it was a 12. So
Mhm.
so she has to get a 12 plus, and she has a +1.
She got 3 dice.
Yeah, for endurance. No, yeah, it doesn't knock her out, but she gets really calm. The
That's good.
and gets kind of quiet. She's not like zoned. She's kind of zoned out, but at the same time, she also doesn't remember your telepathic suggestion or calming effect on her, and so. But overall, her anxiety level's really low, and she's just like, "Yeah, you can lead me wherever you want to go, man. That's cool." So,
Yeah,
you
let's
know,
gonna go ahead and
either way, and so the workers and what suddenly the ship lurches back and starts to level out. But everybody is aware because you're even. Are you guys wearing your helmets on your suits, or are you
Of course.
okay? So you probably don't notice it
Yep.
because your suits are pressurized.
Yep.
But Akranika, of course, brings up to you, Bocephus, that the ship has. He can tell because his ears are popping or plugging up, one of the two. And the ship has dropped. It has lost altitude. And
well,
so, no, go ahead.
we need to get everybody that we are on the Driznex and prepare to leave. I have to act like I think that the engineers have totally failed and we really need to go.
Well,
So
Well, I mean,
we're letting
you would
we're
have.
letting you know it's fucked.
Yeah, you would have radio communications. I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to ask
Hey,
him,
dude, get off this bucket. It's
yeah,
gone.
yeah, but
We
see,
delayed it as long as we can.
yeah, yeah. I've got one of these. I've got one of these breeders with me, and a small contingent. Uh, let's take our toys and go home. Is my suggestion.
so radios coming in. A third breeder has been moved over to the airlock sections, and they are wrestling with her, getting her onto one of the boats.
Okay, I've got this one. She's already docile and drugged, and I if I race to the others, can I drug them maybe? And
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you can, of course, try. And I mean, Akranika volunteers to help this group get this one onto the Destinex, and you can. And he tells you, go ahead. You know, this seems to be working.
great, drugs are the answer to everything.
That
Remember that.
Better living through
that's
chemistry.
right. That's
Yeah.
been my answer for a long time. I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Well, why
So
don't you have a drink?
well, I will do the little translator program or whatever. I'm going to ask one of these warrior dudes to guide me to the next one. Let's
Okay.
go.
Okay, so the warrior, yeah, he takes you to the next section, or to the next airlock section, and you are running through this hold. One of the things that you are seeing as you are running through
Oh,
the hallways, yes, yes, happy Thanksgiving. One of the things that you are seeing as you are running through
oh,
the hold is that
I love sandwich.
there are sections of the hull that it's good that you're wearing your helmets because there are sections that are opened up to space. There are holes that have been ripped open from the gravitational forces and the wind shear of this atmosphere. And so this warrior is like leading you over, and he's pointing out, be careful, don't get pulled out."
Can I ride him?
Probably not. Not. I mean, you could, but you're wearing a hazardous environment suit, so probably
Right.
not.
Kind of heavy.
Yeah, you're probably going to be a little bit. I imagine the hazardous environment suits are probably a lot like the spacesuits from the first Alien movie. They're that bulky, you know, large
Yeah.
outfit.
Well, yeah, I'll be very careful. I'll see if I can communicate that I'd like to tether off to him.
Yeah. Yeah, he holds out a hand to grab whatever tether you want to hand to him,
Oh,
and he attaches it. He's got a I mean, like I said, they're normally naked. He's got like a belt with a sheath for his knife on it, and it looks like there's a holster for some kind of really long pistol-like gun, but it would be really long. But the holster's empty, and he attaches you to his belt, and he's pulling you along. Randolph and Serta, you have reignited the engines. What are you choosing to do?
Have it pull up.
Okay, so you
At
radio
least level off.
to the bridge, and the translation comes back from the bridge. They seem very and so if I remember correctly, Sarda, you had a naval background,
Yeah,
and
it was brief.
Randolph was a Scout Service X-boat operator.
Yeah, I was
And
Imperial Navy.
maybe before that.
So you the translation, I mean, of course the translation comes back computerized, but the somber attitude of the crew from the bridge you recognize. They have already set themselves to the fact that the Ali-Kamraia is done for.
Yeah.
And he says, the captain of the ship says back to you, he says, we have a solution. We will jump.
I don't understand what you're saying. We're not
They're
in
gonna
zero
use the jump
G.
drives.
We're not in zero G. We're in. Oh, yeah. He's gonna use the jump drive.
All he says is we will jump. He says um, that is the word that he says. He says we intend to jump.
let's get off the ship.
What do I see? What does the jump drive look like to me? Because I've been down here in the engineering room.
Go ahead and make a J drive plus intellect or education check.
That's sort of all
Sure.
the way.
Okay.
13.
So you are physically looking at the J drive, and it looks like somebody had taken an engine block and twisted it. It's fucked. You're not seeing how
Yeah,
would
I'll
be
just
possible to jump.
I'll respond and I'll say, yeah. So I'll respond back and I'll say your jump drive is not capable of jump.
Josephus, as you are running down the hall, you see that airlock doors are being blown off their hinges off into space. They're not being pulled off. Actual internal compressions are blowing the hinges and popping the doors off. And you hear over the intercom that there is something an alien, and and your translator comes back and says, "We will jump."
They're going to jump off the ship.
We're not in zero G. We're in a gravity well. I mean, they're gonna just die. I mean,
Yeah.
if we were in,
There's holes all in the ship. If they do
You are
successfully
in the very
jump,
top of layers of this atmosphere. You're not completely submerged. So if they
But I
were
mean,
to jump hard enough, they
I mean,
might
we
catch
couldn't-
orbit around the planet.
but how could that be? I mean, the ship couldn't do that. So how are they jumping going to be able to do that? You know what I mean?
That's what their plan is.
Right, but I'm saying we're not in outer space. We're not in zero G. We're in a gravity well. Jumping means falling to your death inside the gas giant.
That's what their plan is.
Okay,
They see
great plan.
no other way out.
So I would say, I'm just immediately saying, cease the jump. We're sending ships to
Oh.
rescue people.
I'm not waiting to negotiate or shit. When you start talking about that, I'm going immediately to the Dresnex
Yeah,
and
that's same.
you know, yeah. I fuck them if they want to be suicidal, they can.
Everybody roll athletics dex or just a straight dex check.
Oof.
All right.
All right, you made it. Randolph made it. Sarda, you get banged up a little bit, not terribly. Suddenly, Sarda and Randolph, you see the power levels to the maneuver drives spike into the red line. Somebody on the bridge has pushed that maneuver drive all the way to the max, to the point where now the maneuver drives are again starting to overload, and they are glowing. And if you were outside the ship, and you're getting reports of this from your small craft, that the bafflings on the outside of these maneuver drives are actually heating up to the point where they are shredding off. But the Ali-Kamraia is coming up out of the atmosphere and kind of coming up to a float level before it is going to come back down. And you're hearing over the intercom, jump, jump, jump.
I think I'm going to go get a might shuttle. Where's the closest shuttle?
Bocephus, what are you doing?
The same thing I said I would do.
You're running back to the. You're like, fuck this. I'm going back to Deathnex.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting off the ship.
So,
I'm not going to stay here and ride this. I mean, if they're
Bocephus, as you are running back to the Deathnex, you see that literally, as this ship, as the Ali-Kamraia comes up to its apex before it's going to start to dip back down, and you can hear the drives in the metal around you. You can hear these drives straining to try and keep it at the very apex of the gravity well. You see that there are Ali-Kamraia that are wearing spacesuits. Some of them aren't even wearing spacesuits, and they are looking and they're pointing at the Deepnight Revelation off in the distance, and they are taking a running jump out of a hole and trying to float across the distance now that it has hit the apex.
That sounds. Yeah.
You get back to you get to witness something absolutely amazing.
I assume they filled their lung bladders and jumped.
The other thing that you are hearing is that now that these Ali-Kamraia are jumping, because it has reached this apex, they are getting enough lift that they are floating. The Deepnight Revelation has put crew out on the surface to try and catch some of these individuals, or they have other small craft that are picking them up as they can. You witness this one guy, this worker, and he looks out the window, and he looks at you, and then he looks over at the wall, and on the wall, you see that there is what appears to be a portable air canister. And he grabs that off of the wall, and he looks out the hole, and he holds up his thumb and kind of aims, and then he grabs a empty looks like a plastic cargo container with the lid open, and he throws it out towards the door, and it goes out the hole, and it's floating in space towards Deepnight Revelation. He takes a running jumps, tucks into a ball, rolls, goes inside the floating cargo container, and shuts the lid behind him, and the cargo container continues to float towards Deepnight Revelation. A few moments later, you get a call from Deepnight Revelation that they have received the cargo container, and inside is a perfectly healthy worker who had popped the air canister inside. The guy is amazing at doing the math in his head, and he's a worker.
Wow. That's pretty good. I'm still going to the Drisnex, which I know can.
You're like,
I'm still heading to the closest way off this ship.
So Randolph and Sarda, are you heading back to the Dresnex as well, or?
Is there anything closer?
Yeah, there is one of your pinnaces is docked closer. You could get to the pinnace first.
I will get to the pinnace.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are right to the pinnace. So all of you are able to get back to the back to safe ships, and um, yeah, there are no problems as far as you guys getting away. You have learned a couple of things. So um, the bridge is radioing you and basically telling you, you know, out of the 1,000 people, the crew of the Ali-Kamraia refuse to evacuate. They are doing everything that they can until the very last minute, and then they are going to ride it to their dooms. Out of the
Well,
out of the 1,000, out of the 6 mothers or 6 breeders, they were able to rescue 4 of them. And out of the 1,000 crew, or out of 1,000 civilians on the ship, they were able to rescue around 700.
That's
that's pretty
amazing.
good numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys did really well with this. Um, uh, yeah, you actually you did better than I anticipated, and so you guys are able to get back. And so when you get back to the um, Revelation, I mean, you're on your flight deck pods, and essentially there is a huge amount of confusion. Of course, your people are doing everything that they're supposed to be doing and helping as much as they can. The breeders that are confused and scared. They're one of them is quite drugged, so she's okay.
Oh, we're drugging the others.
You want to try?
Uh,
You want to go ahead and make
fuck
it?
yes.
Go ahead and make another medic plus intellect or education check.
You need to get your whatever piece of equipment it was that synthesized that venom. You need to make some more doses.
There's an 8.
There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, you are. Bocephus, as soon as the Destinex lands, he runs off and he's going around trying to, uh, you know, basically calm these breeders down. They are suitably panicked and freaking the fuck out, but after a while, you are able to calm them down. Sarda and Randolph, the pinnace lands, and you come out, and there is so Sarda and Randolph, you witness 2 things. The first thing, of course, is a hangar bay full of very confused, semi-panicked people of an alien race, and they are looking around, terrified because you guys are way more advanced than they are. They don't know what's going to happen to them. They are suitably sad because their ship is destroyed. They lost friends. A couple of or at least or 2 of the breeders are dead. So there is, of course, panic and concern and confusion. The other thing that you know is you two run into this worker who had been caught by Deepnight Revelation in the cargo container, and evidently, as soon as the cargo container made it and they popped it open, he got out and immediately looked around to see what he could do to help. He immediately wanted to go to work to assist you. And so
Good.
he's moving around carrying supplies and moving stuff and helping your crew try to move stuff around and get stuff ready. And basically, he moves stuff. You point him in a direction, he just does it.
So which of those two systems were you headed to? Because we know they go shuttle back and forth between two, right?
Yes, they were. I need to find the name of that again. They were actually on their way to the colony of Abranak, I want to say.
So we want to take them back. We want to
Yeah.
take them to the colony.
Well, yeah. Given this accident, where would we be better bringing you?
So, yeah. Essentially, what you learn is that the Ali-Kamraia, as their jump drives are prone to do, misjumped. And they ended up here out of fuel. There was literally no hope of them making another jump. And so the crew, against better judgment, because their jump drive was damaged, they attempted to do orbital refueling. That clearly didn't go well. And their maneuver drives were overheating once they got caught. So they've actually been maintaining their position for a couple of days until you had shown up. They were doing everything they could to try and get out, and it was a lost cause. But where they are currently located, they show you on a map. It would be closer to take them back to the Ali-Kamraia homeworld than it would to take them to the colony.
Right. Do they prefer that?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, so they tell you the few thinkers that you can get together. Their thought is that it would be better to go back and basically regroup at the homeworld, and maybe get some more breeders, another couple of breeders, and they can try to do another colony ship again. But of course, there's going to be a mourning period.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's easier for us to bring you back.
So yeah. So they again
Yeah.
they confirm your direction towards the Ali-Kamraia homeworld, and your long range telemetry. Is it? Your long range telemetry brings up there's this cluster of systems, and they are pointing that this region is their home, and they point here and they say that this is their home place.
Perfect.
Where are we?
You are probably about 2 jumps out at 4 parsec jumps, so you're about 8 parsecs away.
Okay. Is this heading in the right
travel,
direction?
We'll have to figure out food here and what works best.
Right, and so we will.
Is this traveling left for us?
It is. It is traveling.
Sort of in the
is
right
always
direction.
left. So yes, it is traveling left. So yeah, we will pick up the entire situation with hangar bays full of refugees and makeshift cots and the food situation next week when we pick this up on Friday night next week at 7:00.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a
Sounds
good night.
good.
I'm glad that you had a good holiday. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and I will see you guys next week.
Yep. You too. Take care.
Yep. Have a good night.
I hope I wasn't being a jerk. Yeah, I
No.
hope I wasn't